Hello students, I am doing another little informational safety video on this radial arm saw. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to put this GoPro on my head here, so give me a second. I'm trying to do the head mount so you guys can see well. So this radial arm saw, I put a safety test out for you guys on the radial arm saw in Quia, and so I wanted to cover a little more information on it. Wanted to show you a lockdown on this thing. This lock right here will, if it's locked righty-tighty, right, it won't let us pull the blade out. But if we go just a half a turn, now it's unlocked and we can pull the blade out. Okay, this one won't let us come out farther. It's just a stop. Okay, that one's the lock for the machine. All right, I wanted to share some more info with you. We've talked about the shortest board that can be cut is 10 inches, right? So this one is right now 19 inches long. 10 inches would be almost in half. Well, if we had that short of a board, it's hard to keep our fingers 6 inches from the blade. That's why we have 10 inches is the minimum length of board on each machine. Same for the miter saw, same for the table saw, same for the joiners, same for the planer and the surface sander. 10 inches is minimum length. All right. We need to talk more about cross-cutting and ripping. Okay, ripping is with the grain, cross-cutting is across the grain for whatever board or panel. So the panel, you have to know which way the grain's running. On this one, the panel's running lengthwise, right? And you can kind of tell by looking at the end grain as well. So the radial arm saw is only for cross-cutting, cutting across the grain, across. It's not for ripping with the grain. That would be the table saw. The table saw we use for ripping, not for cross-cutting. Okay, miter saw, cross-cutting across the grain again. Joiner. On the joiner, you want to go with the grain. Okay, with the grain. If you go across the grain, it's going to tear a big chunk out right here. Okay, same thing with the panel. Okay, if we wanted to put a straight edge on this big old panel here, it would do it. If you go across the grain, you're going to rip a big chunk out of your board. Only with the grain. Okay, so every machine, you need to know which direction the grain is running, and then determine, okay, am I cross-cutting or am I ripping? Cross-cut is across the grain, ripping with the grain. What else did I want to tell you here? Our vent system's connected. I did that last night, and it is open. Most of these vent piping have gates on them. Most of them we leave open. Our system's really good, and we don't have to close them each time. Let's see what else. On this machine, we want to cut slowly. Matter of fact, every machine has a speed that you want to learn. If you go too fast, it tries to come out too fast on you, okay? Or it makes a rough cut. If you come over to the joiner and you joint too fast, it puts bigger saw kerfs in it, which makes a poor glue joint. So you want to go slow on the joiner. Now, how do you know if you're going too slow? Well, it would burn the wood. If you're ever burning the wood on any of the machines, you know you're going too slow. There is a proper feed speed, and you kind of learn that as we go, what's appropriate. All right, so we've talked about when cutting a board, we want our finger 6 inches from the blade, right? We would pull the blade out just far enough to make the cut. We don't need to go out any farther than your board is wide. Okay, what else can I tell you? Yeah, after we're done, we're going to lock it back behind, so the next person would have to come over here and unlock it to use the machine. So you always leave it with it locked. On the radial arm saw. All right, I want to take you over to the planer, show you a couple things on the planer. Okay, that's one of the tests we are doing, and also one of the machines, and we'll talk about the surface sander as well. They are similar. This machine is meant to remove material, right, and thickness. This machine is designed just to smooth it. It's not meant to remove material, okay? Surface sander, planer. Both of them, you would not want to put your finger underneath your board. You're going to get a serious pinch. When the in-feed rollers grab it, it forces it down on the table. If you've got flesh in there, it's going to hurt. You probably won't do it twice. You'll remember. But this is the way you would do that. Put your fingers on the sides, feed it into the machine. Same thing on the sander. Put your fingers on the side so you don't get pinched. Okay, another safety rule you need to know: never look into the machine while it's running. Okay, there's potential it could kick something back, even your board. All right, same thing with the surface sander. You wouldn't want to be down here watching it. That's not smart. If it kicks back or kicks something back, it would possibly get in your eye or hurt you. All right, even standing to the side of your board is suggested. Never right behind it in case there is a kickback. I've only seen it one time when I was in high school. So guys, that's been 40 years ago. I saw one of these kick back one time. Pretty safe machine. I've never seen the surface sander kick back, but they say it's possible. So we always stand to the side of the board that's being fed into each of these machines. Remember, I have to be at these two machines before you can use them. You can't set them up and use them yourself. I have to be here because if you make a mistake on thickness, you could damage them. This one's got 250 blades in it, little 1-inch by 1-inch blades. A lot of times if that blade gets chipped, it might send a piece of carbide blade out, so you wouldn't want to be looking in there, would you? All right, 10 inches long again is the shortest board we can feed through either machine. I've mentioned that. On this machine, 1/16 inch is the most we would remove. That's maximum, so we want to stay away from the maximum. Guys, that's taking all of this material off, 1/16 of it clear across the board, so that's a bunch. We would want to do more like a 32nd each pass. Stay away from the maximum. Maximum, I said, was a 1/16. I think that's on the test. Over here, we're not taking off thickness. We're simply sanding, right? So I was telling you, we don't want to go past about 50 amps. And that's hitting the board. The sandpaper's, you know, sanding pretty tight on the board when you're going 50 amps. Okay, so I'm adjusting the machines for you, and that's my gauge. All right, what else could I tell you? I think I've got everything that I wanted to tell you there. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'll have another video for you in a couple days. Thanks for watching.